Good morning. Richard Malcolm here. February the 14th, 2021, Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day to all my family and friends, and especially to my loving wife, Margaret. I'd like to share with you today what the Bible has to say about love. Of course, there's that famous 1 Corinthians 13. A lot of people, when they get married, like to use that as well. So instead of just reciting, I think I'll read because it's so rich and there's so much there. So I'll take this from the King James. Though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels and have not love, I am becoming as sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal. And though I have the gift of prophecy and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and though I have all faith so that I could remove mountains and have not love, I'm replacing charity with love, I am nothing. And though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, and though I give my body to be burned and have not love, it profits me nothing. Charity suffers long and is kind. Charity envies not. Charity vaunteth not itself. It's not puffed up. Does not behave itself unseemly. Seeks not her own. Is not easily provoked. Thinks no evil. Rejoice not in iniquity, but rejoice in the truth. Bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Charity never fails. But where there be prophecies, they will fail. Where there be tongues, they will cease. Where there is knowledge, it shall vanish away. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. But when that which is perfect is come, then that which is in part shall be done away. When I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. For now we see through a glass darkly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then shall I know, even as also I am known. And now abideth faith, hope, and love, these three. But the greatest of these is love. God is love, and in him is no darkness at all. No greater love than a man lay down his life for another. And while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever should believe in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. If you love me, keep my commandments. This is a new commandment that I give you. Love one another as I have loved you. Greater love. They will know that we are Christians by our love. I want to share a couple of little stories now that I recall. One, when I was a little boy in school, we had, on Valentine's Day, we had all these Valentine's cards. And so what we would do, each one of us as children, would put one of the classmates' name on the card from us, our name, and then we would give that to them. And it was a great way to start out showing love as a child to others. I found quite a few years later, when I got older, about 30 years ago, my supervisor at Kaminko, which is now Tech in Trail, BC, asked me if I'd join him at a mayor's prayer breakfast. And I didn't want to offend him, so not being a Christian at the time, I said, okay, I'm open to things. Sure, I'll join you. And so we went to the River Bell, which is in downtown Trail, and it was quite packed there, mayors and what have you. And there was a guest speaker. The guest speaker lived in Fruitvale at the time, and he was on his way to move to Calgary, and he worked for IBM. And his name was Pat Bonnet, and he used to play football for the Montreal Alouettes, which was one of the teams, as well as the Argonauts. When I grew up, I liked as a child. And so his message that day was, when he was in college in the States, where he got a scholarship to play football, there were some people that had invited him to a party, and he didn't realize it was a prayer party. And so he went there, and one thing led to another, and he was able to get converted to Christianity. And so he said he could be by himself, and he could be out in a boat, and he could be alone, but never lonely. From that day on, when he had invited the lover of our souls, Jesus Christ, to come into his heart, and Jesus said, I will never leave you nor forsake you, lo, I'm with you unto the end of the age. And through the Spirit entered into Pat, and he always had that comfort and joy knowing he was never alone. God was always with him. And so today, being Valentine's Day, sometimes you may end up by yourself. And it also might be a very difficult time if you've lost loved ones and you're missing them. So if you've never invited the lover of your soul into your heart to be with you always, and to give you that joy and that comfort and that peace, I would invite you today to ask Jesus into your life. Because no matter what happens in life, we go through challenges, but he has loved you with an everlasting love. He loved us so much that he died in our place at Calvary. And now he's waiting for you to develop a relationship with him. And he's calling you and he's asking you, will you be with me throughout eternity? Will you ask me to come and live with you forever? And so I would urge you to consider making this the day, if you haven't, for all eternity. And then we're hoping to see our loved ones again. For I do believe strongly in an afterlife. And so I'm going to leave that with you, that today on Valentine's Day, make this a new day for the rest of your life. As God woos you with his overtures, I loved him who first loved me. And respond to that love by saying yes to Jesus. Thank you. Have a wonderful day and happy Valentine's Day.